Hello and welcome to another stream. My name is Ray and it is Learning Korean with Ray, day 241. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Sadly, the stream had to be a bit late. I was still working. My work laptop is still running next to me. Yeah, but now it's Korean time and we will continue with the recap videos. So let me open them really quickly. First of all, the memorize situation, 83. So today I didn't manage to do some vocabulary because I was working for so long. Yeah, but I will do that tomorrow. So now let's get into the recap videos. Here we are. howtostudykorean.com, YouTube channel, playlists, lesson recap. Oh wow, the sound. Okay, and we should be at like 14 or 16. Okay. Number 16. Let's go.
안녕하세요, 클라우드입니다. Hey guys, Cloud here. Welcome back to another lesson recap. In this lesson, we'll look at how some nouns are turned into adjectives. Alright, let's get into it. This lesson is divided into two parts. Part 1, 쪽, 쪽으로, and 쪽이다. We're going to talk about all three, but let's look at each one individually and then we can compare them against each other. Let's start with 쪽.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was a very small distinction between chok and chokoro. Chokida as well, yeah. This was a hard topic, to be honest. It was not a very important topic, I feel. So if you mix them up, if you don't exactly know which one is used in which exact situation and you use a different one, it's not a big deal. Nobody will care. But if you want to get it 100% right, it was pretty hard, I think. So let's see.
When 쪽 is attached to a noun, you get the meaning of relating to. So, for example, 역사, history, becomes 역사적, historical, or related to history. 경제, which means economy, becomes 경제적, which means economic. Now, let's look at 쪽으로. Basically what it does is it adds like an ly at the end. So, 역사, history, historical, 역사적, and then 역사적으로, historically. So you added that little ly at the end. Same thing with science, 과학.
Yeah, so he's explaining that ro, jokero, adds an ly in the end. But for me, that's the same as the previous explanation for jok. So jok, he said, related to. So related to history, for example. But historically is also related to history for me. I don't see the difference between historically and related to history or historic. I don't see the difference.
과학적, scientifical, and then scientifically, 과학적으로. Last but not least, 쪽이다. 쪽이다 is the adjective form of 쪽.
Okay, never mind. I want to say something. I do see the difference. The historically, so the ly, you use it in the beginning of a sentence usually. So historically, I don't know. Germany is no idea. So historically, country is blah blah blah. For example, you can't replace historically with historic there. Historic is more describing the following word. So, for example, historic culture. The culture is historic. So then historically would not fit. So there is a difference, but it's still almost the same. You can also put historically, so the ly version at the end of a sentence, I think. Or even in the middle. Hmm. Hmm. The ly version feels like it applies to the whole sentence, while historic, so the version without ly, only applies to one word in the sentence. Okay? Yeah, I think that's a good distinction. Scientific proof. Hmm. Okay, let's say economically, Germany is a strong country. So here, the economically applies to the whole sentence, Germany is a strong country, in that context of economy. But if you say Germany has a strong economic power, whatever, then the economic in that sentence only applies, it describes the power, economic power. So it only applies to the power. So I think this is a good difference now that I think about it. So the jock version basically describes the following noun. So that's what I understand for now from these two explanations. And obviously, I know that adjectives describing a following noun usually end with n in the end. And I even think there is a version with an n in the end. I'm not sure, but we will ignore that for now and continue for the next word here and hear that explanation.
So 과학적, which is scientific, 과학적이다 would also mean scientific, but it's used differently, or it has a different. It depends on how you use it, basically.
Well,
Let's compare 적으로 and 적이다 because those are the most commonly used ones.
okay,
So
so he's saying chogoro and chogida are more commonly used. So that implies jok itself is not commonly used. So that's why I said it's not important, I think, to know the difference. I will just not use the first one and only use the second two. And I only have to know the difference between these two and not the first one. Let's see. We solved that problem scientifically. So here he's using jokoro, and he said jokoro is like adding ly, which is true here. And here we have jokin. Okay, here we have the version where you add the n, where it's like a true adjective that is describing the following noun.
let's look at these two sentences.
Okay, and again, I think the explanation that I thought of kind of fits. So the scientifically applies to the whole sentence, or maybe more about the solving part. Yeah. Okay. This is like describing how the verb was executed, the verb. And this one is describing the following noun. So this is a clear distinction here.
우리는 그 문제를 과학적으로 풀었다. We solved that problem scientifically versus 우리는 과학적인 문제를 풀었다. We solved a scientific problem. Hopefully that clarifies a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So here I see a clear difference. The first one is still not clear to me then. But then again, that's the one that is not commonly used, so I guess we don't care. What I remember is Jokoro, ly, jokin, describing the following noun. Can you use jokida in any other way as well? Or only if it's with an N in the end? So is there some sentence where you use like something like jokieo? I don't think so. No, I think that makes no sense. Okay, so it's just jokoro and jokin, which have a clear different meaning, so that's fine for me.
Now let's compare 쪽 and 쪽이다, and let's look at these two sentences.
Okay, he's still comparing these two. Okay, let's see. This will be the most interesting difference now.
Now, these two sentences have the same translation, but I would say that the second one with the 쪽이다 or 쪽인 is the more natural.
Okay, so he's saying it's the same translation, but one is more natural. So he's basically saying they're exactly the same, but use this one. Use jokin instead of jok. But they're both the same. So why would I ever need to learn jok?
All right. Now let's look at 부럽다.
No reason. Okay,
부럽다
nice.
is similar to 쪽, where
Yeah. So to summarize, jokero, ly, jokin describing following noun, jok never using. Stuff is now following. Thanks for following, Stuff. Yeah. If you have any questions or so, just ask. I have not seen you here before. I can't remember how this this thing is used. I know. Is it? I'm not sure. I know Koreans use by like I think like this. I'm not sure. Okay, I know you mean hi, but I'm not quite sure how it works. I was just recommended this channel less than a minute ago. That's nice. Yeah, sometimes I have a few more viewers, like 5 or so. I even reached like 13 last week. Today the stream started a bit later. So what I'm doing here is I'm learning Korean, as you can see, and I'm on day 241, which you can see in the title as well. And yeah, I'm using the website howtostudykorean.com to do that. I'm German myself, doing the stream in English, obviously. And yeah, that's my project here, learning Korean. And sometimes others join and learn with me or help me a bit, correct me when I'm doing some exercises or so. Right now, I'm reviewing the lessons that I did so far. So this website, howtostudykorean.com, which is this one, that has a lot of lessons here, and I did 25 lessons now. And I'm planning to do this Unit 1 test. That is the test of the first 25 lessons. And since that took 240 days, I am watching some recap videos for every lesson here. I'm currently at the recap video for lesson 16, just to prepare for the Unit 1 test. And after watching all the recap videos for all 25 lessons, I will do the test. So that's the goal right now. That's the goal for the next few days. I used it for grammar a bit because it's so in-depth. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. So I guess you are a fellow Korean learner yourself? How long do you learn already, or where are you from? First of all, where are you native to? What country? What's your mother tongue? Sweden. Ah, okay. Nice, nice. So how long do you learn Korean? How advanced are you? Started 2 years ago, but not a 2 year study period for sure. Very lazy. Ah, that's difficult then for learning in a very different language to your own. Have to put in a lot of work. I'm level 3 on Talk to Me in Korean. Talk to Me in Korean, I considered as well using that resource instead of howtostudykorean.com. And in the end, both are very good. I just decided to use howtostudykorean.com. No super specific reasons. I just had like very, very slightly more recommendations for that when I researched on the internet. Um, so I have like 2/3 of a year where I only use that website now, and I did the first 25 lessons. And after that, after I finish this, after I do the Unit 1 test, I want to integrate some other content into the stream, which will happen in a few days. So I need like two or three more days for the recap videos. Then I will do the Unit 1 test, and then I will have some other content on the channel, on the stream here. And one of those ideas for other content is definitely check out how Talk to Me in Korean and see if I can do the first few lessons, the first, I don't know, 50 lessons there or so, with the knowledge I gained from howtostudykorean.com. And just to get some different perspective on the topics that I already should know. Maybe there are like 20% new stuff there that I can learn, but most of it I should know probably. But it's nice to get another perspective on that. But yeah, I will also watch some other YouTube videos in Korean. I will read some web comics. I have a lot of like different things planned. We'll look at that in a few days. I think the most important thing is to use the material that's most fun. Exactly. That's one of the reasons I want to integrate other content into the stream after doing this Unit 1 test, because I literally did 240 days of howtostudykorean.com, going lesson after lesson after lesson. I am using MasterReY for the vocabulary learning here. You can see I am at 1,100 words here. This Korean one is just when I started the first 10 days or so, but then I switched to the howtostudykorean.com vocabulary lists for all the lessons. So I'm alternating between learning vocabulary on MasterReY, learning grammar on howtostudykorean.com, and then I just switch back and forth. But after 240 days, even with those two things alternating, it maybe gets a little bit boring. Not only for me. Actually, it's fine. It's still fine for me, but also for the viewers of the stream here. I want to just have some other stuff that's fun, that gives me some other experiences, some other resources that I want to try out to learn. Just try out some things, and see what makes the most of fun. And eventually, I will maybe go back to howtostudykorean.com, but I will definitely try out a lot of things now after the Unit 1 test. And yeah, I totally agree that it's the best way to learn when it's fun. I'm pretty sure there are certain ways that are slightly more effective. So if you have like one resource A, which is fun and you learn it, and then you have resource B, which is like 10% more effective. You can learn 10% more if you spend your time with resource B. but that's not fun after a while, then you will get demotivated, and those 10% will mean nothing because you're not spending as much time in that resource because it's boring for you. But if you have fun and you want to learn and you have a resource A that is maybe 10% less efficient, but you have fun and you spend a lot of time with that, it's still much better, I think. Vocab is the hardest for me. Stuff just doesn't stick in my head. Yeah, I don't think I have this problem. I think I'm a good learner. I can remember, memorize stuff pretty well, I would say. But I think the most important part about vocab learning is, if you have problems with that, is that you see a lot of example sentences or different situations where those things, those words that you learn, that you should memorize, are used in different situations. So if you just see the word by itself, without any context, without any situation or so, I think it's harder to memorize compared to maybe you watch a YouTube video and the word is used there and you get some visual uh, context for the word as well, then it's much easier to remember, I think. Okay. So, um, with that being said, I'm honestly learning a lot via StarCraft. Oh, okay. Wait, when you earlier said you were recommended this channel less than a minute ago, what do you mean by that? Did Twitch just show you the channel? Are you watching a lot of StarCraft streams on Twitch, or are you watching most of, like, the most streams you watch are Korean? So I'm wondering because I'm a very uh, I'm a StarCraft streamer basically. I have two projects here on Twitch, StarCraft and learning Korean. So I thought you are here for the Korean part, but now that I know that you also play StarCraft, that's a little bit of a bit different topic. Ah, there, clicks and nuts. Yo, I'm here. Good to see you, MasterReY. Very goes to Korean. Thank you, clicks and nuts. 안녕하세요. Yeah, so since I'm playing StarCraft myself, learning Korean to how do I say it? To make me able to use more stuff in StarCraft in my other hobby is definitely one reason. So if I can understand Korean StarCraft videos or watch StarCraft streamers, Korean StarCraft streamers, that will be fun for me. So that's one of the reasons why I'm learning Korean here. The other reason is that I always wanted to learn a third language, and I also started Chinese. I started learning Chinese in university, but I didn't quite like it. So after the university, I just decided I will start learning Korean instead, because Korean has a nice synergy with my other hobby, StarCraft. You have a solid base. Yeah, well, I think my progress so far has been okay, but I definitely know that I need a lot more time. It just takes time to learn a language. I know that, and that's not like shocking for me. It just takes more time, and that's fine. But I think I'm on a good way. I went through Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Japanese before Korean. Wow. Okay, okay, I thought you spent like 150 hours on each. Okay, 10 hours. Okay, that's still fine. But Korean really stuck. I think Korean, if you take a look at with 10 hours into every language, I think Korean is very nice because in those first 10 hours, you can easily read Korean already because the alphabet is so easy, the Hangul. Um, it's so easy to learn reading Korean. So you, after just a short time, you already feel very accomplished, I think, if you spend that time on Korean compared to other languages. So maybe that's why, yeah, maybe that's why Korean is always good for that. Language lovers here. When I was sitting on the school bench, I never thought I would become a language nerd. I hated langs in school. Ah, yeah, yeah. Me too, I have to say. I hated German, but I mean, that's not about the language. That's more about, it's also about the language, but more about literature and so on. That's what I didn't really like in school. And also, I learned French in school, and I definitely know a few French things still, but I also didn't really like it, didn't really enjoy it. I think nowadays I would enjoy it way more, and I would be way more motivated to do well in French. But back then I wasn't motivated. I didn't like it. I still wouldn't consider me a language nerd, even right now. I'm totally satisfied, or satisfied is not the right word. See, my English is sometimes not as good either. Anyways, I'm totally fine with German, English, and Korean. It's not like I have a strong wish to learn more and more languages. I think if I'm able to speak Korean at a very high level, if I can easily hold conversations with Korean native speakers, then I'm fine. I'm totally satisfied and I don't need more, I think. So I wouldn't consider me a language nerd. I just want to learn Korean. I just want to learn a third language, basically. Latin in school. Oh, plastic. I'm so happy I didn't learn Latin. Latin seems like such a useless language. Maybe except you go into medicine or so. That's the only thing I can see it being useful. But apart from that, if I'm forced to learn a language in school, it should at least be a language that I could use in a conversation with someone. For Latin, that's just not the case. Do you plan to go live in Korea like Atosis? No, I don't want to go and live in Korea. I want to visit Korea. Definitely that's on my bucket list, like a 2 or 3 week vacation in Korea for sure. But yeah, I'm fine living in Germany. I think Germany is a good country to live in. So yeah. I'm in med now. Okay. Almost no one uses med terms in actual work. It's just good to know, kinda. Yeah, I expect that. I think it's probably also on the way out, the Latin. I think it's probably gets used less and less over time. There will always be some things that stay Latin for traditional reasons, I guess, but yeah. Anyways. Mm, yeah, Latin is it's, I think, the second biggest language that Germans learn. Maybe the third. Yeah, Spanish, French are the two main languages that Germans learn as a third language. So German, English, and then French or Spanish. But Latin is up there. Latin is definitely up there with French and Spanish in the top three of third languages for German in German schools. So when I was in school, which is, I don't know, when I had to decide which language I want to learn after English, yeah, around 14, 15 years, I don't know, 15 years probably. So 15 years ago, in my school, and I was at a good school, I was at a good school, I only had the choice of French and Latin. Nothing else. French and Latin. There was a little part where you could learn Spanish as well, but they only had like one Spanish teacher or so, and many people wanted to learn Spanish, so there was no chance to get into the Spanish class almost. But there were like 5 different French and Latin classes and one Spanish class. So that was the distribution of third languages at my German school. And I think that's the same for a lot of other German schools. So it's kind of weird in Germany. Latin has it's very big in Germany for some reason. In Korea, I have a good friend has nat who has native German speaker, really loves the German accent. Yeah, German accent is quite uh, recognizable, noticeable. I like the German ending of words sometimes. D turn into T. And can sound like and. Yeah, I guess. And. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Hand. Yeah, it's definitely true. Mm, alles klar. Alles klar. But you need two L. Two L. At my school, you could have done Latin, English, Ancient Greek. Well, English is set. So English, every German school kid has to learn English. So it's German, then English. Then those two are set for sure. German, English. Every German school kid has to do that. And then if you want, or if you are at an advanced school and you need a third language, then you can choose between French and Latin. Nowadays, probably also Spanish has the same level of French and Latin, but those three are the top languages for after German and English for German schools. Alles klar. That's correct. Click nuts. Alles klar. Okay. So guys, I think I will continue the recap here, right? Let's learn something. We have Syropta. Syropta, what I remember from that lesson about Syropta is, for example, natural means Giant Syropta. And then there were some other words that I remember. Jarang Syropta, Sarang Syropta. But I don't know which words use Syropta and which words use Jokin, for example. So I'm not sure about the difference between Syropta and Jok or Jokin. Mogim Jik Syropta. Mogim Jik. I have no idea what that is. Kotong Syropta. Kotong. No, I don't know these words. Looks delicious. Okay. For delicious, I know Mashisoyo or Mashita. And I know Somse. Somseada. I think. This is transforming noun into descriptive verbs. Yes, that is correct. Stuffle.
where it
Stuff,
changes a noun
not stuffle. Stuff, sorry.
to an adjective, but they don't act on the same word. So you probably never hear 욕사스럽다 instead of 욕사적이다.
Okay, yeah. We just said in the previous part 1, we had Yoksa history. We had Yoksa Jok, Yoksa Jokero, and Yoksa Jokin. So some words like Yoksa use the Jok ending, and then there are some words that use Siropta. Let's see.
But let's look at some words that are natural to be used with 수롭다, and let's break them down. So you have 자연, which is nature, and 자연스럽다, which is natural. For example, you could have a sentence that says 저도
저도 자연을 좋아해요. I like nature.
자연을 좋아해요. And
지금 자연스럽지 않았어. 지금 now. Wait, that makes no sense. Is 지금 is now, right? Natural 자연스럽지 not natural. Now is not natural. I don't really get it. Wasn't it natural right now? It's a question. It's a question. It's not natural now. Is it not natural now? Okay. Yeah, wasn't. Right, wasn't. It's past tense. You're correct. Wasn't it natural right now? It's still a weird sentence for me, I think. But yeah, that's the translation. I was not seeing the question mark.
부럽지 않았어. So the first one would mean
Yeah, I don't also get the translation. It's so weird. Wasn't it natural right now? I mean, you can say that in a very specific situation, but that's a very weird example sentence. Let's see what he's saying.
Also like nature, and the second one is, wasn't that natural just now?
Yeah, wasn't that natural just now? Very weird example sentence. He has, man, the example sentences in these recap videos are super weird. I noticed that in previous videos as well. He had such super weird example sentences. Sometimes they just are weird sentences like this, and sometimes they are very confusing if somebody is seeing those explanations the first time. Like the most confusing sentences he could take, he took them.
That's pretty straightforward. The next example is where things get a bit harder though. What if the word in question is used differently than before? So let's look at 만족, which is satisfaction. 만족하다, which is to be satisfied, and 만족스럽다, which is satisfactory, basically. Now let's take a look at this example. 저는
저는 만족스러웠어요. I'm satisfactory. I satisfied?
만족스러웠어요.
Yeah, passed. I never look at the ending. Okay, satisfied is this one. With the properties of satisfaction. Yeah, but it's also satisfied. It's weird.
만족스러웠어요. by the definition we just saw, this should mean I was satisfactory, because we said 만족스럽다 is satisfactory.
Yeah, makes no sense.
But what it really means is I was satisfied. Okay, well, what about this sentence? 저는 만족했어요.
Same.
According to what we said earlier, this should mean I was satisfied. So which one is it? Well, whichever one you said was the answer, you're kind of right. Technically, to say I was satisfied, you'd use the second one. What the first one is saying is that something was satisfactory and that made me satisfied. There's a difference there, but the difference is really, really small, so you don't really have to worry about it. The key takeaway from all this is that sometimes verbs with 수롭다 can end up conveying the same thing as if they didn't have 수롭다 attached with it. Let's look at two quick examples using the adverb form of 수롭다. 너무 수롭게 보지 않았어요. Isn't he
looking at her too lovingly? 너무, too, 사랑, love, 사랑스럽게, lovingly, po, looking, not looking.
Looking at her lovingly, or too lovingly.
Feels like. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
그는 실망스럽게 행동했어요. He acted disappointingly, or in a disappointing fashion. All right, that's it for this lesson.
Yeah, so these recap videos are very short. He's not going into full explanation mode and explains every details. He's just picking some things out of the lesson. So I obviously did all the lessons. So I know, I remember the explanation from the lesson. This is just a little recap that should like refresh your memory. It's not meant to be a full explanation of that. Okay, so that's why it's very short and he's not really explaining more here. Is this like rare grammar or colloquially used? What do you mean by rare grammar? You mean if it's used a lot or not? I have no idea. Colloquially. Is colloquially, does it mean like informal? Like with friends and so on, but not in a formal situation? I'm not quite sure about colloquially. Frequently. Okay, I see. Thanks. Yeah, sometimes I have some problems with English as well. I don't know every English word. Okay. Let's continue. So that was lesson 16. Yeah, I get it. Now we go into lesson 17. What is 17? I want.
안녕하세요, 클라우드입니다. Hey guys,
Okay, I think this lesson was pretty easy for me. So this is about, yeah, I want 싶어요, 고 싶어요, or 고 싶다.
Here. Welcome back to another lesson recap.
I think I got this.
We made it to the final third of this unit. Just a few more lessons and we'll be starting unit 2. We want to keep bringing more lesson recaps for you guys since they've been helpful, and love your feedback as to what we can do to improve for the next unit. So tweet at How to Study Korea or leave a comment with your suggestions. With that being said, today we're going to be talking about some sentence connectors, how to say I want to, and lastly, we're going to dive into 은는 versus 이가 again, but this time in more depth. All right, let's get into it. This lesson is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 is cool. We previously learned how to take nouns and combine them, like I like apples and oranges. With cool, though, we can do the same thing, but with verbs and adjectives. So I like eating and sleeping. My favorite example sentence from this lesson when I went over it was 오늘 고객이 많고 분위기가 좋아요. Today there are a lot of
Today, customer. I think this is customers, right? Kogeki, mango, punwigi, punwigi. Atmosphere? Today there are a lot of customers and it's a good atmosphere. There are a lot of customers and the atmosphere is good. I think that's the meaning.
customers and the atmosphere is good.
Hmm.
The reason I really like this sentence is because I was at a cafe with a friend and they said something very similar to this. So when I saw this written down, I liked it. Let's look at another example. 고양이도 귀엽고 예뻐.
Um, 고양이 cat, cute and pretty. I I'm not sure what this do is. Was it all cats? All cats are cute and pretty? I think that's it. Yeah, all cats are cute and pretty.
보여. The cat is also cute and pretty.
Mm.
Now
Okay, also not all. All is tar then. Okay, it's also. Hi, Flo. Oh, stuff. You said something else. Pisa, Pisagi, Solomais, Gushipoyo. Pisagi, Sodomais? Not sure what you're saying. I have a question about this type of grammar, to be honest. The go here splits the different verb and adjective right, but does it separate o nil from the second verb too? Both statements. I'm pretty sure it's both statements. It applies to both statements. I think so. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually. What I know about this code to connect sentences, there are two rules for connecting with Go, with co. You can connect two adjectives. So for first situation, first rule is you can connect two adjectives and they apply to the same noun. That is the second example sentence here. Second situation or second rule is you can combine two sentences with a similar idea. That was the definition I learned. Connect sentences, but only with a similar idea. You cannot say, I bought an apple and the weather is bad. That I bought an apple and the weather is bad. They don't share a similar idea, so they're not connectable by co. So here there is a connection. The atmosphere is good. There are a lot of customers. I can see the connection there. Maybe the atmosphere is good because there are a lot of customers. Or it's because it's talking about today in probably a mall or so. So this is like a lot of customers in the mall. The atmosphere in the mall is good. So these have a connection. I assumed it's both because it would be a weird sentence otherwise. Yes, I think so. I think also this similar idea part means that it applies to both. Okay.
Now, let's also look at when go can mean then. So, for example, 밥을 먹고
Ooh, okay, then, okay, third situation. If one action is coming after another. One action is executed after another action. So that is this then usage. Okay.
갈 거예요. I'll
It's
eat,
fine.
then go. There's not much of a difference between saying I'm gonna eat.
I think always discussion and talking about stuff is always good. Um, and I can delay the video for that. It's fine.
Then go and saying I'll eat and go. Obviously there is, but if you really wanted to stress the fact that you're gonna eat then do something or do one thing and then the next, you can add 나서 after go. For example, 만나고 나서 다음 날 바로 친구가 됐어요. We met
This one
and
I
then the
forgot.
next day we became friends.
Go naso.
Okay. Now I want to take a look at one more thing before moving on. Let's revisit this example. 고양이도 귀엽고 예뻐요. Here, go attaches to 귀엽다 stem, and it's not conjugated at all. Actually, none of the examples we've seen had go attached to a conjugated word. Okay, that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen though. Let's take a look at this example. 많이 좋아했고 못 잊어요.
Okay. I liked it a lot. And didn't forget. I'm not sure.
I liked him so much, and I won't forget about him. Now, conjugating to the past tense can also mean that there was some time between the two actions, like 저는 열심히 공부했고 의사가 되었어요. I studied hard and then I became a doctor. Also, last but not least, it can also indicate that both ideas happen in the past in like a list form, not really in like a particular order. So, for example, 저는 방학 동안 영어 문법을 많이 공부했고 영어 신문도 많이 읽었어요. So, during the vacation, I studied a lot of English grammar, and oh, whoops, there we go. And I also read a lot of English newspapers. We mentioned in the beginning of the lesson that we're going to revisit 은는 versus 이가. Well, here's a little trailer for that. Since 은는 can be used to compare things.
Very long sentence here. During vacation. Okay, so in this case, it's not one action is executed after another action. So it's not then. This is just two sentences sharing a similar idea. Okay.
We can use it to make sentences like I'm smart and he's dumb, or this guy's tall and that guy's short. So, for example, 이 산은 높고 저 산은 낮아요. This
이 산은 산. Am I just very stupid here, or do I know what sun is? 산은 산다? I have not learned 산다. 높고. Ah, no, wait. It's also not a verb or adjective. It's a noun. I have, but still, I have not learned sun, I think. Have I? Sun? I don't think I did.
mountain is high and that mountain is low, or like one of them's tall and the
Ah, mountain. I'm not sure if I learned this, to be honest, but I definitely remember we talked about this. I think actually I did not learn it, but it appeared in an exercise from the workbook. And then I had to ask you and you guys, Flo and Kaya, probably. You told me it's mountain before, but I have not officially learned it. That's what I think it is. Uh, Halasan. What is the Hala then? Halasan, is that just a Han? Hanrasan. Is that a specific mountain, a name of a specific mountain? Or, ah yeah, okay, it's a volcano mountain on Jeju Island. Okay. Okay, interesting. I don't know any mountains in Korea, or I don't know many mountains at all. This mountain is high, but that mountain is low. Okay, so here we use nin for comparing. We use it in both sentences here that are connected with ko. Okay. Hi, Red Blue Green. Welcome to the stream. Chuge, chuge, chuge shu. What? Chuge shu pachesan. Chuge, chuge shu. I have no idea. Is this like an English word in Korean spelling thing? Because it really looks like it. But Zugspitze. Oh man. Chuge. Why is there shu in the middle? Where's the shu coming from? Why is it not s? Like whenever, like in this case, sp, the Koreans would just use s and then usually. So I would expect shuge sp, sp chesan. Well, I don't get the shu. The in the middle, the s followed by u in that one syllable. I don't get that part. So far, I have only seen used as a vowel when there's no vowel in the original English word or German word. Uh, Mounde, Mounde, Mounde. I can understand that. Mounde. Is it Mount Everest? It's probably Mount Everest. Mounde Epereste. Epereste. Nice. See, this I completely understand. Here we have the ST, which is just ST, but the SP is not SP. So that's weird. CP. See no difference, Flo. I see no difference. Well, I see it, but you know what I mean.
The other one's short. You can see here the comparative function of unknown. Alright, let's move on. Part 2. Also. Also has multiple uses, but let's look at the usage that you can confuse with ko, which we just learned. They both mean and, but the difference is ko simply adds things together, like saying I enjoy rock climbing and cooking. This wouldn't be said using also. Also is used for saying things like I rock climbed then cooked. it indicates doing one thing and then the next. All right, enough talking. Let's just look at some examples. 노래방 가서 부를 거예요. I'm going to go to the karaoke and then sing. 노래방 is it's a very common word. We haven't learned it yet, but I thought it'd be okay to use it.
노래방. 노래방. Very first word I ever learned in Korean. 노래. 노래 is the very first word I ever learned, and 노래방 is the second word. Or I guess the third, because I learned bang in between. Or pang. So 노래방, very first word I learned in the Memorize Korean 1 course. And there were these videos where this old woman was singing.
Means karaoke. Also, you'll notice that also is often attached to 가다 and 오다, since even in English we often say things like I'm gonna go eat then sleep, or I'm gonna finish studying then hit the gym. In Korean, also would be used. It's also used with position words like standing, sitting, and laying down. So 저는 누워서 책을 읽었어요. I lied down and read a book. All right, I want to. I'm sure if you've consumed any Korean content.
Okay, this are or also, I have to say I completely forgot about that. I want to go back for a moment and check this part out. So we have go on one side. So here we have that explanation. One action occurs and then something happens after that. Remember that, okay? One action occurs, then something happens after that. Now we are learning about are or also. One action happens after another action. One action happens after another action. One action occurs, then something happens after that. One action occurs and then another, and then something happens. Okay, so the only difference is, in this part, there's one action occurs, this one occurs, and then another action happens. So this action happens after this action. Okay, action, and afterwards another action happens. And here we have action occurs and then something happens. So the only difference between those two explanations is here we have action followed by something, and here we have action followed by action. So that's the only difference in those two explanations here. And I think it can be really the exact difference. Here, what is the difference between using go and are or also? I cut the carrots with a knife and then put them in the fridge. So those are two actions, so I would use this one. I would use this one. Here we have also used. Also is more likely to be used when the action of the first clause is intrinsically linked with the action in the second clause. And this example that stuff that you're saying here is there are tons of customers and the atmosphere is good. Atmosphere is good is not really an action, so it would fit in that explanation or in that description of the difference. The best way to explain this is to look specifically why specifically are or so is more commonly used with verbs kada and oda. Now I remember this part. Exactly, yeah. Ah, I remember this part, yeah. We go somewhere to do something there. Or we come somewhere to do something there. If you want to say that you go somewhere to do something, you should not use ko, but this one. Okay, yes, okay. So that's what we'll remember from this. That's the takeaway, okay? If we go somewhere to do something there, then we use a or also. Or if we come to a place and then do something there, then we also use a or also. And we use ko in, yeah, if we just want to connect sentences with a similar idea that is not going or coming to a place to do something there in that place. I mean, it is really nice, to be honest. It really fits well to eso. So we learned eso, the place indicator e, and the eso. Eso is used if an action is happening inside of a place. And this is very similar. We have a or also instead of eso, but it's the same idea. We go somewhere, we go to school, and then the action of studying is happening inside of the place. So I think that's a very good connection there between eso and are or also. So yeah, I like this. That's good. We came home and then the action of sleeping happened inside of the home, inside of the place. Okay. And here, this is not the case. The eating is not saying that the next action will happening inside of some place. So, yeah. The sentence implying you will eat and then finish eating and go somewhere. Aside from the fact that one happened after another, the act of eating didn't affect the act of going. Okay, so if the first action affects the second action, then it's are or also. And with going or coming somewhere, that's pretty much always the case. Ah, yeah, very nice. We go somewhere to eat, we eat and then go. Hmm? Okay, I think we got this, guys. 식당 가서 식당 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 restaurant. Oh, but that's a very short form, right? 식당 가서. Shouldn't it be like let me try to write the not shortened form, okay? I'm writing in the chat right now. So yeah, I think it's I think it's just the particles missing. Mogere. I don't even know the ere, the ere ending. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, I'm not writing anything anymore. But I think the particles, shouldn't it be Şıkdangil kaso? Şıkdangil kaso? That would be the proper way to say this, right? Did you watch Nebujadil? Nebuja. Nebu. Inside, yeah. Nebu. I learned this, yes. I'm not watching any movies, to be honest. I'm never watching movies. Particles are often dropped in everyday speech. Yes, I know. I just wanted to make sure that I understand it correctly, that it would be correct to use the particles there. And it's not some other grammatical principle that must remove the particles. It would be correct to say Şıkdangil kaso Pabil Mogoyo. Multiple. Multiple? What? Multi. Deep. I'm reading the sentence by. Thanks for following, Luna Security. Thank you. I'm learning. I'm reading the sentence of clicks and nuts in the middle there. Moi mochido kaso multiple hanjanaja. What? Oh my god. I'm going to mod life. What is even mod life? Guys, I don't even know the English words. What is mod life? Ah, Maldives. Maldives, okay. Okay, I see. Stupid joke on movie. I'm not getting it. Is it because it sounds similar in Korean? But I don't get the joke, to be honest. I have to admit I'm not getting the joke. He went to a drink and drank a place. Ah. Mochido kaso. Ah, yeah, of course, yeah. I have not I have not looked at the sentence correctly. It's yeah, I see. Yeah, I should have seen that. Okay. Yeah, I understand now. Yeah, I should have understood. I just didn't. I didn't look at the sentence enough because I didn't know those two words, Mojito and Maldives. I didn't know the words, so I basically stopped looking at that sentence enough. Yeah, but I'm pretty much not watching any movies, to be honest. So sorry. Okay. We have learned about this now, and yeah, the position verbs section I also remember. I lied down is the same logic. No warsaw. Also, okay, so I lied down to read a book. Okay, so whenever we have a position verb, a movement verb that is done to do the next action, then we definitely use also or also. Okay. Okay, and now we will finish this video.
You've heard this being thrown
This one
around
is
all the time.
easy.
Like
Goshipta.
보고 싶다,
I
a
know this
very
one.
common word that Korean
Very
learners
easy.
learn early on, which means I miss someone. Let's look at this example. 한국에 가고 싶어요. I want to go to Korea. Or 저는 친구를 보고 싶어요. I miss my friend, or I want to see my friend. 보고
E.g.
싶다, though, it's not used with adjectives. Adjectives will.
How do you say easy with Korean spelling? Let's see. E.g. Nice. E.g. Okay. Nice. Nice. But we never say. Yeah, I assumed that. There was someone if like 5 days ago or so, there was a person here on the stream, a viewer who did not learn Korean, so he had no knowledge about Korean language. But he just came on the stream because of my StarCraft streams, and he just stayed and watched a bit. And I tried to motivate him a bit to start learning Korean. And I told him that it's very easy to read Korean. I showed him some examples, how to say banana, that it's very easy to learn Hangul and be able to read Korean. So I taught him banana, and then the next day I taught him. Or it was not even me saying it initially. I think it was it Flo? I think I was just saying nice the whole time, and Flo just put the Korean spelling of nice, nice. So then we talked about nice. So the two words he always remember, he will always remember are nice banana, nice banana, nice banana. Yeah, Korean and Chinese are worlds apart. Korean is more like English or German than Chinese. Tomato. Nice. 30 centimeters. Wait, what? Is this a very... Wait, what is the 30 centimeter referring to? To nice compliment to a man? Ah, wow, maybe I missed something. Hände, Händepun. Hände, Händepun. I don't know. You didn't miss anything. I just see nice compliment to a man and 30 centimeter. I think I know where your thoughts are. Nice banana, yeah. Ah, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. I'm very slow. Sorry, guys. Now I get it. I was just uh You know, I just had this. I just had this. I think it was Drogorif. I think that was his name. The viewer who came into the stream and learned those two words. I just had him in my head like a small boy learning a new language and very innocent and so on. And now he really he knows the word nice banana. So was completely far away from anything sexual or, you know, rapids. Oh man. Oh god, the rapid drama. That was interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder what he's doing right now. Like, not really right now, but in general. Um, if he's going to cast another game, or will he make a comeback in StarCraft at some point, or will he just completely leave the esports scene at all? I really wonder about that sometimes. I have personal question. Your favorite player is Reach. Yes, that's correct. Clicks nuts. Uh, Park Young Suk. Park Young Suk. I like Rapid. I have no clue what happened. You're not allowed to like Rapid anymore. It's a sin. If you publicly announce that you like Rapid, um, you will get exiled from the community. Okay, short summary. No judgment. Very short summary. Maybe not as short as he thinks. Um, okay, short summary. There were some people saying that he sexually harassed them. So two girls saying at some events, Rapid said some weird sexual things to them. So he wasn't. I think it wasn't physical. It's not like he grabbed them or so. He just said sexual things to them, and then it just completely blew up, and everyone hates Rapid now. And he's basically gone from the scene forever because everyone hates him because he said some sexual things to two girls. I don't know. So, to be honest, we still not even have evidence that it really happened. We just have two girls saying it. That's it. I don't know. He never said anything to that. He never put out a statement because he was completely removed from the community immediately. Like everyone completely banned him immediately from everywhere and everyone hates him. He never had the chance to even say anything towards those accusations. I'm not sure. But that's it. Yeah. I'm not the one to judge, but I personally don't like blaming somebody or completely like exiling, or how do you say that? Look down and hate someone and have a huge shitstorm on someone if we don't even have an evidence, or at least some more statements than just two random girls. Two random girls, you have to say, nah, never mind. I don't want to even get into this topic. So that's what happened. Everyone can take their own conclusion from that. Venom, what's going on with you here? Your language is quite Aggressive. Please no swearing in the comments. No bad words in the chat, please. Otherwise I have to time out you. Okay, so it's already 30 minutes after my usual time. Goshipta is very easy topic. I don't think I have any problems with Goshipta. I will just skip through this. Okay, we have this part. I don't even see what that is. No, but word like brothers. This stream, like every second stream of my Korean learning here, gets flooded with StarCraft content. Oh man. All the poor non-StarCraft viewers. I have to work on that. I have to work on not letting the Korean learning stream get derailed into StarCraft topics every time. Sorry, Flo. I hope you're not mad at this. Okay, you got me motivated. Nice. I'm doing this every day. You guys, if you like the stream, you can come here every day, except Sunday. Sunday I'm streaming StarCraft in this time, but every other day at 6 p.m. CET, you can see the times at the top there, top right corner. Every single day, I'm here. So if you want to join in again, please do so. French study stream incoming. Je m'appelle Stéphane. Je comprends le français. Très bien. Depuis combien de temps tu apprends le français? I don't know what combien is. Combien tu app... No, I don't understand that, sorry. Anyways, I want to finish this video now and then I have to eat. I have not eaten so far, so let me continue here.
Used to state general facts. So making generic statements like broccoli is green, bananas are yellow, those kind of generic sentences, you'd use none. So take this for example. Rocky 산은 높아요. The Rocky Mountains are high. This is a generic statement. It's not situation specific. So you wouldn't use ika to say this.
Generic statement
situation, like you're hiking and then a mountain comes into view, and then you could say, 와, 산이 높다. Whoa,
experiencing something in the moment, E and K.
This mountain is high. Here you're not comparing, you're not making a generic statement, it's actually specific about the situation that you're in. If you were to compare mountains, then you would use a none. So 이 산은 높아요, 하지만 저 산은 낮아요. This mountain is tall, but that mountain is low or small. Okay, so we've looked at the two uses of a none. Now let's look at ika. I already mentioned that ika is used in specific situations. So let's say you went out of your house after binging all of the How to Study Korean lesson recaps, and the weather is great. You'd go out and you'd say, 날씨가 좋다. Ah, the weather is so nice. Here you're talking about that specific.
Yeah, because we just see that, we just feel that, we just experience that. Then we always use E and K.
Specific situation, not stating that in general weather is good. Alright, that's it for this lesson. I'm sure a lot of you guys still have doubts and confusions about this topic, but don't worry. You can always go back to lesson 2 and revisit the 5 pages worth of explanation on this topic. Then you can come back to lesson 17 and read like 6 pages worth of more details. And if you still can't grasp it, then I just suggest you move on, because once we get to lesson 22, you'll get another 5 pages worth of explanation. And at that point, you'll have better overall understanding of grammar concepts, so it should make understanding this topic a bit easier once you get there. Also, there are more videos that'll...
Okay, so that's this video. Yeah, since how long do you learn French? I learned French 15 years ago in school for 3 years. Like uh, 2 hours a week for 3 years, 15 years ago. That's my French knowledge right there. How long does IK last in this example? Just in the moment or the entire day? Just that very moment. That very moment. So when you are really just realizing something in that moment, I think. But yeah, if you say the weather's great, let's say you realize it in the morning, okay? The weather's great today. And then later on in the afternoon, your parents visit and you talk to them and you say, oh, the weather's good today. I think you would still use E and K, to be honest. I think you would still use E and K. I think it's better to remember the other way around. So use nin and in for general statements that are always true. General statements and comparisons. General statements and comparisons in nin. I think that's an easier way to remember that. Wapanana ga naise. What? Wa banana ga naise. What is wa? Is it just like wa? Just like that expression, or does it have an actual translation? Yeah, okay. I see. I guessed it. Okay. Okay, we will stop the stream. Yeah, that's it for today. Again, if you want to see more of this and especially want me to take the Unit 1 test that is coming in around 2 days, maybe 5 days if every stream from now on goes like today with a lot of derailing, then in 5 days. But it will happen this week. So this week I will take that Unit 1 test and it will be nice. And leading up to that, I will do the remaining 7 recap videos from lesson 18 to 25. And yeah, that will be nice. So would be nice if you tune in. And of course, thanks a lot for following Gurian. Thank you, man. I'm stopping the stream now, but I'm back tomorrow at 6 p.m. CET. So I hope I see you again, guys. Until next time. Bye bye. Annyeong.